And on any assessment, carers' allowance is failing on all those objectives. It is a failure when a third of households in receipt of carers' allowance are classed as food insecure compared to 10% of households as a whole. When Carers UK research from 2019 found that 600 people per day were giving up work who were caring, and when the rate of poverty amongst unpaid carers is 50% higher than amongst non-carers. For one immediate remedy, we could consider, and it's in our motion, to increase carers' allowance. It may not seem much in the big scheme of things, but we saw in the pandemic the impact of the £20 uplift to universal credit, which delivered an immediate and marked fall in food bank use. Then we must do all we can to support people into work and to stay in work so that they aren't relying on carers' allowance to get by. And here, Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm talking about the earners' allowance, which stops carers from working more than 13 hours per week on minimum wage before losing carers' allowance. And there is no taper rate, has already been discussed. As soon as you're over a penny, it goes. But also, bizarrely, yearly increases to the allowance aren't pegged to changes to the national minimum wage itself. Historically, people could work 16 hours before they lost carers' allowance, and I would suggest that some of the scandal that we've seen is because people have continued to make those assumptions. We need to take the complexity out of the system. It is completely reasonable to assume that if you're earning national minimum wage and receiving carers' allowance in one financial year, then in that following financial year you can continue to do so, as long as you don't increase your hours. But no, that is not how the system works. National minimum wage this year went up by 9.8% and the earnings allowance didn't go up at all. That sounds to me like a system set up to make people fail.